characters. You notice a lot of the characters are named after rocks or chemicals. The diamonds are figures from Greek mythology. The story of Selene and Endymion. There at the right, you have Selene was the goddess of the moon in Greek mythology, and she would frequently, like many Greek goddesses would, come down to Earth and bathe, if you will. Japan has a similar mythology where the maidens would come down. Have you guys seen the Inuyasha movie, the first movie about like Princess Kaguya coming down to bathe? Like kind of a similar vein with Greek mythology. Anyway, she came down, she fell in love with this shepherd boy, who Endymion is his name in the Greek mythology. That's who Prince Endymion is named after. And they actually, they fall in love, and then when she realizes he's mortal and he's going to die, Selene begs Zeus to put him into a sleep forever in which he won't die. But, you know, he's just laying there forever beautiful because she valued his handsomeness, his cute face so much. And actually they managed to copulate still. And if you don't know what that word means, you can look it up, but don't look on Google Images. And he apparently, from that sleepy time, they had hundreds of children who ended up being like myriads of minor gods and what are they called? The tree people.
Dryads.
Yeah, yeah. So just some really cool stuff. Also the rabbit on the moon. Are you guys familiar with that myth? Yeah, in Japanese mythology, they have a myth about there's a rabbit who is sent to the moon as punishment, and he has to pound rice cakes there for children on Earth. And Usagi's name is actually a pun. Actually, all their names are puns, but Usagi, her name literally means the rabbit on the moon. And that's why in some of the early episodes, when they're going into the game corner, you can see to get in, Luna's password is the rabbit on the moon makes rice cakes. So that's where that comes from. It's all based on the pun.
And if you guys want to know more about the Princess Kaguya story, Ghibli,
Yeah,
has a film.
It's beautiful. It made my, don't watch it with pregnant people though, because they'll cry. They're like, children. Okay, let's do a post contest. Liven things up a little bit. Okay, do we have any tuxedo masses in the room? All right, I have to nominate you. Does anyone else want to do a pose contest? You can win a cupcake.
Sure.
All right, when you in back, come on, let's stand up over here. All right, come on, in the back. Come on up over here. Come on, we need a couple more people.
Let's go.
Mike, you want to do it? It's a tuxedo mask one, if you like it. Girls can do it too. I'm really excited that this was in crystal. All right, so all you're gonna do, I'm gonna play the clip and then you will reenact the pose, all right? And then you guys will vote by applause afterwards who you like the best. Okay, ready guys? Okay, Tuxedo La Smoking Bomber. And unfortunately, this was not in the original anime, but this is from the manga and it is in crystal. So guys,
He's actually badass here. Whoa.
yeah. This is why it's worth it to watch Crystal. Watch Crystal. That's my message to you all. Well, you guys, who wants to go first? Feel free to yell out the name too.
What was the name again?
Tuxedo La Smoking Bomber.
Smoking bomber!
Alright, next up.
By the light!
Go ahead.
Use the power of light.
Tuxedo smoking bomber!
Alright.
Tuxedo smoking bomber!
Okay, so tuxedo mask number one?
Yeah.
I think so too. Alright, you Sarah get the choice of chocolate or a cupcake.
Ooh, I'll take that last Kit Kat.
Alright, there you go. Wise decision. There you go. Congratulations.
They were dripping to make cupcakes, so you know. Yes, in true Sailor Jupiter fashion, I've made these cupcakes. However, there's Ferrero Rochers and the frosting is made with Nutella, so if any of you guys have nut allergies, I don't want anybody to have a problem.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Oh, all right, I'm Kirsten York, I'm Nate's wife, and I'm here today, Sailor Jupiter, because she is my favorite. I love that she has lightning powers, and you know, she's this tough, badass chick, but at the same time, she can be all sweet and girly, and you know, want to bake cupcakes and have her own flower shop. And yeah, I'm a little new to the original Japanese anime. I had watched some of the English dub in the 90s, and oh my god, Usagi sounding like somebody's middle-aged
Oh my gosh, there's a Pluto.
Why?
Man. Sailor Pluto!
Luna had that.
Oh my gosh.
English nanny voice. Ghost.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but there was a Pluto. Stop trying to steal Endymion. I don't appreciate it, but I love you still.
I'm Nate York, sub-Zippo here at Youmacon and on YouTube and other social channels. I've been a Sailor Moon fan since the first run of the dub back in the mid-90s. I'm a big fan of Sailor Venus for her love of love, so to speak. And I did prepare that rant I'm ready for whenever you want it, Mary Rose. It doesn't have to be now.
We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that later.
Alright, so...
Don't mind me running around with my cameras.
Alright, so I just wanted to share one slide. I've presented a lot on Naoko, the creator, before, but you can actually learn all this information about her on that 107 Facts About Sailor Moon video. It's really great. It covers most of the content that I'm going to cover today, but I'm going to focus more on Anala. I can't talk on the show. I'm going to talk about the show and things and stuff. But she's actually married to the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho. That's their wedding photo right there. And he drew a little manga about it. It's so adorable, and they made a children's book for their 2 kids. And you can read it online for free on Miss Dream's website. They have a son and a daughter. Okay. All right, so let's talk about Sailor Moon Crystal a little bit. How many of you guys love Crystal? Woo! How many of you guys hate Crystal? Okay, we got a few haters. It's fine, except that this fandom is about love, so let's chill the hate pants. Okay, so as you guys know, there was a real delay in production, and it's because there was some dissension between Naoko and some of the creative decisions that were made. The director and her didn't really see eye to eye. You can read all about it in interviews, but I really love Naoko's statement about Sailor Moon Crystal. I'm going to show these old grandpas that beautiful girl characters can be good for business, and I'm not leaving my concept in the hands of old men. And she said this at the 20th anniversary, which, have you guys seen that? It's on YouTube, you can watch the full thing. I believe there are translations. We were given these teasers of, well, the banner leaked online before it was supposed to, that image on the left, which was just gorgeous. I freaked out when I saw this. And then some of the character designs, people were a little bit disappointed that the characters were too lanky, but I would like to make the comparison that to the manga it is much more similar than the original series ever was. And they might look a little bit Barbie-ish, I want to say. Like Clamp. Yeah. But it was a new style, and I appreciate, hey Chan, I appreciate what they're trying to do with Sailor Moon Crystal. I think there are efforts to improve the animation, so we have that to look forward to in the future. We also got teaser images like this, which are so cute! Okay, there's 26 episodes right now of Sailor Moon Crystal out. Season 1 is completely out on Hulu, it's on Crunchyroll, on NicoNico.com, and Neon Alley. Guys, please support the official versions. You don't have to go to YouTube to watch these episodes. You want the show to make money so it can improve. So their budget is better. So please watch the official versions where they're actually making money from the streaming. Plus the subtitle qualities are better than any fan-made quality that you're going to find out there. The Blu-ray editions of the show are not also all out. You can purchase them. The box sets are gorgeous. Anyway, the Sailor Moon Crystal manga follows the original manga storyline. It's not a continuation of the original series. Most of you guys, well, a large percentage of you guys have seen it. Have you guys watched the whole thing? You all watched season 1? Wasn't that a great ending? Did you cry when it was like... Yeah, well, when they reunite, the mother and daughter thing, I was so sad. But then at the very end when they go, see you soon, I'm like, what does that mean? But then they waited and then announced that they were going to continue.
So how many people for Sailor Moon Crystal, when it first came out, would wake up super early when it like first opened? You guys are my peeps.
Yep, I was there with you in spirit. One other thing to note about Crystal is that it is set in today's setting, which was really cool because now they have cell phones and computers and things like that, which we didn't have in the 90s. This is just a little bit about the cast that created and was responsible for the first panel. I think it's interesting just to see the similarities in the art style, the color palette definitely, I can see, and just the shininess. And the music, oh my gosh. Is the music for Crystal not amazing? Moon Pride, that's all. Okay, what Japanese band performs the opening song? Yep, Momoko. Alright, come get your candy or cupcake. So this is Momoko. We knew they were going to be involved with this since the 20th anniversary announcement. They did the opening of Moon Pride. We kind of assumed that they were going to just do Moonlight Densetsu, but there is a re-recorded version of them singing that song on the tribute CD, which I highly recommend purchasing. It's so good. And you can listen to samples on YouTube as well.
There's actually a video of the group, and they're like dressed up as the actual characters.
Yes, it's really cool. And I have a clip I want to show actually. Where is it? This one. I'm just going to show a little bit because this video is really long. But this is Momoko live performing Moon Pride. They showed this on the like video overview. Concerts in Japan are absolutely insane. If you ever get a chance to go to one,
あなたを探していたのよ、うさぎちゃん。
So now we know she uses bobby pins in
う
her
さぎちゃん
hair.
には使命があるの。
Takes off some of the
仲間を集め
mystery.
て敵を倒すの。ねえ、プリズムパワー。ねえ、
How's the sound, you guys? Is it good? Look at that! It's bigger than a football field.
ムーンライあなたの力になりたい。
Anyway, I love that announcer. It's Sunday!
I can actually do that.
What'd you say?
Sunday, 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 be there as Sailor Moon murders the Shitena with her bare hands.
Oh, wow.
Only on pay-per-view.
I was really happy in the first
Get your
episode-
tickets now.
In the first episode of Sailor Moon Crystal, when they vanquish Morga, I don't think she's named in Crystal, the first episode, they like disintegrate the first opponent, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she didn't turn into sparkles. like actual death occurred like in the manga. Thank you, because the manga's it's not gruesome. It still has that shoujo style, but it's definitely more violent than the original anime was.
A lot more people die.
And obviously, there was some serious censorship in the 90s dub, if you watch that.
Yes.
Not just understand.
So anyway, some general differences. If you are interested in checking out Sailor Moon Crystal and you haven't, I highly recommend it. Just with this disclaimer, do not go in expecting 90s Sailor Moon. It is completely different. So the story is a lot faster paced. There's no filler, so we don't get the characterization that you would get in the 90s anime. I do recommend watching the 90s anime first because you're just going to get to know the characters a whole lot better. You'll be connected to them as well. For newer fans, Crystal is nice because it's much faster paced. I can't get my husband, Tuxedo Mask, to watch the 90s version because he's so embarrassed about the number of campy lines that he has. It feels much cooler in Sailor Moon Crystal.
And the bad fashion choices.
Oh, I have a slide dedicated to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Anyway, the pacing is more faithful to the manga. I always thought the manga pacing was a little bit too quick, but obviously those errors were sort of fleshed out in the 90s anime. There are new story elements, such as the Shiteno being more involved romantically with the Senshi, and there's sort of a Romeo and Juliet story. Nate, tell us about what you don't like about Crystal.
Oh, okay.
You mean besides everything?
Go right ahead.
Well,
Keep in mind you're in a room full of people that mostly like it, so try not to ruin it for them.
Well, for starters, it has the worst animation I've seen outside of hentai. Characters' eyes like melting off of their faces, a complete lack of any concept of perspective. Then there's a lot of questionable direction in it. My favorite, I only got through about 8 episodes before I had to give up. My favorite moment was when the Shiteno were up on the rooftop introducing themselves. We'll stop at nothing to destroy you and get the silver crystal. Farewell, we don't want to extend the runtime of this episode, even though we have a tactical advantage. It's just a lot of stuff like that, just little directions that don't make sense to me.
And here's the CGI that a lot of people
That's
don't
the only
like.
thing I do like, the CGI henchins, and everybody else seems to hate them.
So the CGI transformations, these things are very common in Japan, so this is totally like in line with the genre.
And I'm pretty sure the rest of the show really is CGI, or at least run on it. It's like hand running animation.
Yeah.
Just to put a little more render time into this.
Who's your favorite CGI transformation?
I don't know that I remember any of them well enough.
My favorite is Venus. I think she's at the end. There we go. That was perfect timing. Did you see that? Mars's fire looks really cool though. Yeah, in Venus's CGI transformation is actually very similar to the live-action version.
I love to see everyone hell when they had her transforming to the Price is Right.
And let me show you the live-action stuff real quick. It's great.
I think the live action might be my favorite version.
Tuxedo mask live
Maybe because I am deeply involved with the Yakukomatsu. Sorry, did I interrupt? Yeah, and it makes a little heart while she's spinning around.
She's not really sold on that line.
You know, you might think your magic hair is a little nonsensical, but then there's a frame in the classic anime when Usagi like hits her toe and it flashes an X-ray.
Suddenly, she has a wig on.
Her hair has bubble in the X-ray.
I don't know how she did that. I feel like the exploding leaves power.
Mars is super powerful.
Honestly, like, I think Mars's actress is so pretty.
She is.
She's really perfect for that character, too, because Mars is supposed to be that traditional Japanese beauty.
Yeah.
You know, working at the Miko Shrine. And
She does the role very well.
she was in Fast and Furious, too, if you haven't seen that movie.
火星に変わってあ、ジャンプよジュピター
Yeah, personally, I love Dr. Rosemary's transformation in this series. That was really amazing.
I think we can all learn something from PGSM.
I hear this part in my head every time she transfers her costume.
Alright, you guys need to reenact these transformations. Everyone in Sailor Moon cosplay, transform, stand up, transform.
部活と勇気の戦士セーラージュ
looked awesome.
She got a more elaborate one because she was masquerading as a princess.
Yeah.
It gets cut down in a later
Did
episode.
she just do a flip? It's L'Oreal.
So for those of you who didn't know, Ayaka Komatsu got the part for Sailor Reeve because one of the directors watched her play ping pong. And she was like,
はい、のびの選手、セーラーヴィーナス。金星に代わって、お仕置きよ。
Oh my gosh, PGSM, let's give it a hand, everyone.
and PGSM, Tuxedo Mask, and Luna also have a transformation.
Yeah, and I have clips for that, I'll show them later.
I like Sailor Luna.
Tuxedo Mask transformation is incredible.
But he only gets his in in that Goof episode, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
He puts his boxers on in the transformation. It's
Yeah.
pretty great. He transforms with a Band-Aid as well.
Do the boxers have little roses on them?
Yeah, they do. They're like checkers and roses. Does anyone know what the name of Naru's family jewelry store is? Naru or Molly? In back? Sorry? Yep, that's correct. Osa P. Do you happen to know where that name came from?
No, actually.
Oh, do you know back there?
It's from her editor.
Right, yeah. So Naoko had this editor that worked very closely with her throughout the series, like in the very beginning. He's still working on Sailor Moon Crystal today, Osabu. Osa P is kind of like a play on words. You can come get a cupcake or chocolate if you want. Osa P is kind of a play on words, a nickname. In the manga, you see a little pig character in her side panels, that's Osabu. And he's so adorable, like seeing this, like, he's probably in his 60s now. This 6-year-old man talk about like girl power is just, there's something really heartwarming about it because he's so sincere. But he, oh yeah, in the back. Come.
Let you go around.
And here's beautiful art from the art book. So pretty.
So gorgeous.
It's the wedding night.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
You're not showing that one.
Oh, I had a Sailor Moon themed wedding also. It was super awesome. I was wearing my wedding dress last night at the ball if anyone saw me. So the Shiteno, like I talked about before, they are more prominently featured together. There isn't a lot of individual characterization in Crystal like there was in the 90s dub. You know, it was just kind of like they were the villain of the day for a while and then they got bigger like boss roles and then one by one they're kind of systematically eliminated.
Yeah,
Here they all got killed together.
Yeah, especially with Deathlight. He had such a great arc in the 90s anime, and he just got such shortchanged in Crystal. It was so sad.
If you guys like the Shiteno and Senshi, inner Senshi pairings, definitely watch La Reconquista. I think it definitely covers the romance aspect better than any other series does. And actually,
Let's go into that.
yeah, and Momo Clo actually appears in that play as like a dating advice game. It's really funny. They do a great job. And here's Queen Beryl and all her variations, including the PGSM version down there, which is my favorite.
PGSM Beryl, porn
Yeah.
star.
Legit?
Legit.
Oh,
Legit.
that makes so much sense now.
Google her.
I would not, okay, like if I were a guy, I would be so intimidated, because if that's her O face, then, oh my god, like look. What does that sound like, do you think?
I think I got it on my hard drive somewhere. I might have to go digging.
All right, let's keep it PG, Dave. Oh, something really kind of cool in Crystal is that Beryl does get more of a side story and her love and affection for Tuxedo Mask, which is not really true love because she just was possessive of him. And she was heartbroken when she realized that he was in love with Princess Serenity. But that was her before she turned evil, which we didn't get to see in Sailor Moon. And here's some of the creepy touching, bad touching with Sailor Mars and Jadeite. These are the pairings. But it does, so you can see it does follow the manga pretty closely. But who could forget, like this will forever be my favorite pairing. You cannot beat this.
My one true pairing.
This wasn't in the manga at all. Like the animators completely came up with this on their own with the direction in the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I cried so hard. Oh my gosh. Yes. And then Mars, I like Mars best. Mars has the sexy pose.
Is she the only Senshi that has high heels?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, see, we have some really beautiful animation. Like there is bad animation in Sailor Moon Crystal, there's sloppiness, but there are panels that definitely shine. Like the crystal. So pretty, so bright, like the sun. And then there's panels like this, where he is looking at her panties. Apparently, Tuxedo Mask knows something that we don't. Like, look at this face. One thing that I did love is the incorporation of the sword, though I was not really thrilled in the first season what happens with the sword, although it does follow the manga. I thought maybe they were going to go for a more girl power thing, and it ended up being like this Romeo and Juliet type story where, oh, he's dead, now I'm going to kill myself. You know, it was very depressing. But I cried a lot.
I hated that in the manga, and I'm sure I would hate it in Crystal if I got that far.
Let's do another pose contest. We're going to do one of the Senshi now. I need some volunteers.
All right, we got a few volunteers.
Yeah.
Yes. So as a new fan, of the original Japanese run, I really loved it. I thought it was great. And I mean, I think it was, my first magical girl anime, and yeah, just the friendships between the characters and how Usagi, throughout each series, she keeps getting more and more powerful. I loved it. Like, they kept leveling up. They just didn't stay with the same powers, which is so great. And yeah, there's definitely 90s stuff there, like floppy disk, come on. That is so dated, but I really loved it.
Thanks. We appreciate your feedback as a new fan. Like, since I've been into this series, I love to hear what draws people in. So if you guys have any comments, feel free to raise your hand. But anyway, we're gonna do Burning Mandala. All right, you guys ready to watch? And please stay up here afterwards so we can vote. Mars, you want to go first?
Burning Mandela.
Bonus points if you actually produce fire.
Like Nelson Mandela, but not quite.
Bonus points.
Just take the fire away from the camera, please.
Pay money to see that.
Please don't hit me with fire. I don't want to lose this shirt.
It's a very nice shirt.
Thank you.
Burning Mandela.
All right, nice. For Mercury.
She pushed me first.
Don't trip.
What am I supposed to do? See. Okay.
Don't trip on that
You
cable.
can do it. I believe in you.
Okay. Burning Mandela.
Yeah.
Either no.
Yes. Maybe.
What do I do?
Do it.
Burning Mandela.
All right. Venus. Masquerade Venus. Jessica.
Burning Mandela.
Okay, who is your favorite? Mars, you get first pick. Would you like Reese's? And there's cupcakes over there. Here's what I think some of the really strong artwork was from the second story arc. So the second story arc of Sailor Moon Crystal follows the Dark Moon Kingdom. There were some differences, but the main involvement with Prince Diamond, Wise Men, the sisters, and Usagi being abducted was really creepy. And we actually got to see the inside of their castle, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, it was really
Definitely.
Have you guys all seen this This is episodes like 13 through 26. It's catch up. It's really cool. In this story arc, we get to see kind of the mother-daughter relationship between Chibi Usa. There's some sick character development with Usagi. We see her grow a lot, just from this normal girl who didn't want to be a superhero to someone who has the responsibility for others on her shoulders, and she kind of realizes that with Chibiusa. There's Pluto. I love Pluto. Because Pluto barely gets any screen time or character development in the 90s anime, so this was really nice to see. It also touches on the fact that Pluto was after my man. Yeah, he's married, so. Yeah. And there's also the time travel aspect of the story, which I thought was interesting, but it was hard to follow because there's a lot that goes unsaid there. Like, what are the connotations of time travel? But hey, the show's only, 26 episodes, so they didn't get into it. There's also the Freudian jealousy and weirdness from the manga, and then they kind of finalize it. Wise Man will actually play a part as, on a larger scale overall, if you compare it to the manga, with the agents of chaos that kind of come into the show and bring ruin. Later on, that's going to be really important. Aww. You could see their similarities. It was so cute. I thought in the 90s anime, Chibiusa was so annoying, but they really developed this character. Don't you think?
Yeah, the old dub voice for reading didn't help.
Stephanie Beard. I don't know why I know that.
And again, we see Usagi grow up, and it's kind of implied that things get a little feisty here between Tuxedo Mask. That kind of looks like Saya right there with how her hair is, or Saya. I'm like, no, it's Mamoru. But yeah, they go back to his place, and it's okay, they get married. Pluto, I love you. Don't take my man.
They're both after the same man.
What'd you say, Nate?
I said they're both after the same man.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Mamoru's pants. Everyone wants to be in them. In the 90s anime, and different characters in this version. So.
Beryl, Nihilinia, Pluto, Chibiusa.
Yeah, Fisheye.
Well, they are very nice pants, so who wouldn't?
If you haven't, read the Moonsticks comics online because she has a bunch of them.
Yeah, I had a Moonstick comic up earlier. They are the best.
And she talks about that.
Okay, I really love, this is the scene where Pluto meets Usagi after they, save everyone. Look at Pluto's face very closely. Yeah, she's just, oh hello, the wife of my future crush. Future wife of my crush. And then Tuxedo Mask is just in the back Chibiusa's like, I know that she has a crush on my dad, and I'm okay with that. There's weirdness there. Speaking of which... Okay,
that was awkward.
Was this scene more uncomfortable in Crystal than it was in the manga? Yeah. This, I wanted to vomit. I'm gonna get off that slide, it bothers me.
Yes, thank you.
I think it's because in the manga, when I got to that part, I just turned the page really quickly and I didn't have to look on it. In Crystal, you're on that scene for 30 seconds. It's just her snogging her dad as Black Lady, and it's like, oh, okay.
So when you're 5 years old and watching that, or reading it, you get so confused because you're like, wait.
I'm confused as an adult. Still confused, that didn't change. That's also in the 90s, but was it a full snog in the 90s anime? I thought it was it was a quick
I don't
pack.
remember, it's been
I think so.
gotten that far.
I think so, but it was maybe 4 seconds. If that.
It was very brief.
I thought they did a really good job of psychologically tormenting Usagi, though, in that section, because it really played on her insecurities as a character, which is nice to see because we see Usagi in her strongest moments and we see her in her lowest moments when she's yelling at a 5-year-old who's actually 905. So yeah, we did get season 2 or the third story arc, the Infinity story arc, which is the best because we get all the outer senshi, so Uranus and Neptune fans. Yeah, like that's really exciting. We're gonna get the Death Busters. We don't have timing or scope yet. Based on what we saw with the original, I'm hoping we don't have to wait 2 full years. A year would probably be the normal anime production time. But I kind of want them to take their time because obviously there were some mistakes in the animation with Crystal that just shouldn't have happened. There will be a new director most likely, as the current director tweeted out after they completed the 26 episode run that he enjoyed his time working on the series, but he's done with the project. So that'll be interesting to see who they pick, and it brings up the larger question, like, are we gonna get Dream? Are we gonna get Stars?
Probably, if they would go as to have like another season, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't, do the whole series at this point.
Yeah, and it also brings into question, like, is the next season going to be 26 episodes again? How much content is it going to cover? Because it's like fast-paced stuff happening. There's a lot that happens. Okay, so just some overall loves and hates. I've talked to a lot of you guys about what you like and what you don't like. Overall, I think everyone can really appreciate in Sailor Moon Crystal the main love story between Mamoru and Usagi. I think that's the strongest element of the show, which as it should be, because it ultimately is about a girl with this like love story that transcends time, and it's amazing. The manga style, we like battles. Battles actually happen. It's not just them transforming or doing the same attack over and over again. Which, by the way, you notice that in PGSM and in Sailor Moon Crystal, they do the transformations. That's not really in the manga. That's not a huge element in the manga. They transform maybe at once, and it's like magic, and they're transforming. The twirly, sort of iconic transformation actually came from the original anime, which is interesting. So we see a blend of the popular iconic elements in Crystal as well.
And also,
I was going to say, they're probably inventing that to fill time in the anime to have less to animate every episode.
Maybe. I hope not.
You're saying, Tux?
oh, and also because Sailor Moon is also kind of like based in Sentai material too, so the transformations in the anime are also to just eat up time and to also probably call back to its Sentai roots and like stuff like Zero Ranger, Power Rangers.
So what did you guys like or dislike about Crystal?
The animation.
Do you dislike?
Yeah, the animation was just terrible. Sailor Moon deserves better.
It does. It really does. I don't know how an A-list anime like Sailor Moon with such a huge following, all these other incarnations, could get just slapped together animation and production overall. They know it's going to turn around money. Maybe they know that it's going to turn around money even though they don't put anything into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think most of the franchise's money now is not coming from the anime though. It's coming from all the merchandise, which is fine because the merch is great. But like because Sailor Moon Crystal only aired online, they did not make the money that they made on the original series, like by today's standards. You also have to consider that now, however, it is airing on TV, the Blu-ray edition, so higher quality animation, which from my opinion, they should have started with that, but they didn't have the money.
I can't believe it's more economically sound to animate something poorly than redo it completely from the ground up. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I can kind of understand though how the animation would have been lower quality considering the dissension that they had with Naoko, the disagreements, and they were probably under a lot of pressure to get it out the door because the fans were like, okay, you promised us this in 2013. What's going on?
Well,
and then we didn't hear anything for like 6 months.
Yeah, that's another thing. They had a year delay, and it still came out bad.
And it aired every other week too. They had
it-
plenty of time to, fix things.
Yeah.
Now, you said there were disagreements with Naoko and that. I thought Naoko was going to be running the show this time around.
She did, but she had to fight for it, basically. The director wanted to go in a different direction, and she had to fight to get some of her story elements back in there. So maybe what you see now, you could sort of blame on Naoko, which, like, the manga isn't perfect, but for me, I appreciate the points that you bring up. I think they're valid. I just appreciate any official explanation or exploration into the series. I think that's what makes us fans, is we love these characters, right?
Yeah.
And I know you guys did give it a fair shot.
And I will give it another shot, like once the Blu-rays for Crystal come over here with the dub. I will give it another shot. trust me, I do not want to hate on you. And my tuxedo mask shirt, fashion sense.
Yeah, the fashion definitely improved, but Robbie Damon said that next year he's gonna cosplay Mamoru in the workout shirt right there with the sleeves rolled up. So everyone, you'll have to remind him, like, stalk him on Facebook, do whatever you can, be like, we want this 90s cosplay. He wouldn't cosplay Crystal, I asked him.
Have you ever seen the episode in the old dub where he's like, being a model is tough because I used to be a model?
Oh, the whole dub? Yeah. No! Yeah. That must have been one of the added lines. Oh my god. Yeah, but I will be happy if I never see the salmon shirt and the pleated pants again.
That green vest, the green blazer is my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, in his defense, he's very concerned about breast cancer. It's October.
Yeah, but I mean, in Crystal, he just walks around in a tuxedo, like, hola! But he did that in the manga. Do you know where Naoko got the idea for that? She saw a random guy in Tokyo walking around, like in the area she lived in, walking around in a tux. That's how she got the idea for Tuxedo Mask.
And Usagi still doesn't realize that Mamoru and Tuxedo Mask are the same guy, even though he's blatantly walking around in a tuxedo.
In Crystal, she figures it out sooner, though. She holds the mask up to his face. She's like, oh.
That was a live action too, and I think the manga.
Anyway, here's a little bit more about the Blu-ray. I have the first Blu-ray. It doesn't come with English subtitles, which was a little bit disappointing, but it's like straight import from Japan. Which, the stuff that comes inside it are like, if you speak Japanese at all, it's a really good buy because you get like storyboarded out notes, which are so cool. It's definitely like worth the money. And plus, I'm willing to invest in this franchise because I do want to see improvements in the animation quality.
Me too.
Here's some differences though between
things in my house.
between the Blu-ray and the web version that initially aired. Like the quality, you can just tell. Luna, she looks so much better in the Blu-ray. He likes her either way. Okay, last pose contest. Anybody? Bueller? Bueller?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Which one do you guys want?
I am just present. Do whatever you want.
You can do that.
What was that?
Flower Hurricane.
Oh, Flower Hurricane. Can we do that one more time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ladies?
Okay. All right.
Stephanie, step up a little bit. Let the people see you.
Hello, people. Okay, it was
Flower
a
Hurricane.
flower hurricane.
There you go. Woo!
Jupiter, flower, hurricane.
Hey. I like your bow tie.
Flower hurricane. Flower hurricane.
Okay, guys, who's your favorite? Let's start over here. If I cover your scar, is it going to disorient you? She can't talk! Okay, I think Jupiter was the favorite, right?
Everybody said.
Here, I'm paying you off.
Each one.
candy because I am like Usagi in that I can't resist sweets and I'll gain about 20 pounds and then there'll be an episode about how I need to lose weight.
Another one?
That was like my favorite episode.
Wasn't that like 4 episodes in?
That was episode 3, I think. I relate so strongly to that one. When she goes to the gym and she's pedaling.
It was before Mercury, that's for sure.
That's how I work out, is I try to get all the workout in 2 minutes.
Do you remember in R when her brother fixed the scale so that she thought she was gaining?
Yeah, that was just that was a dub.
The picture that Luna draws is the best.
Yeah.
Somebody cosplay that.
You were like 6 months.
Speaking of which, let's talk about some of the 90s dub.
Yeah.
So as we know, do you guys want to talk about the culture clash that sort of happened?
Sure. Yeah.
How many of you are familiar with the 90s dub? Yeah, a lot of you grew up on it, right? I mean, I'm right there with you, but you have been deceived. First of all, Haruka is not cousins with Sailor Neptune. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Not those kinds of cousins.
And if she is, it actually makes it worse, so. But like, obviously, like, they censored a lot of controversial
They
pieces.
did. Like the henshins, they blurred well, not blurred, but they kind of made less obvious that they had, female parts.
They blurred the silhouettes a little bit, any kind like the hip lines and breast lines.
Yeah, there's a scene where Usagi's taking a bath and they actually moved up the water and made the water less transparent. They made it like brown water.
Not to mention, but I think a good 4 or 5 episodes for the first season were cut completely just for pacing purposes.
Yeah, when
They cut out a lot of episodes. So if you've only watched the 90s dub, you're missing a lot.
Especially
Really
the
are.
last episode, which was like some nightmarish mishmash of the
Yeah.
original 2-parter.
Plus the movies. And they never did a dub for Stars because, well, actually, what's funny is that when Sailor Moon, I guess this was a really controversial time, the 90s, for censorship at least, because when Sailor Moon was going internationally, other countries also did their own creative ways to get around the controversial topics.
Yeah, as bad as ours is, what was it, the Philippines version that's 10 times worse?
Yeah, I mean, the France version is hilarious. They switched genders on Luna and Artemis because they got confused.
What?
I saw clips of, like, I think it was the Philippines version, where the swimsuit modeling episode, they're like just walking around completely blurred out.
Oh my god. And I mean, like, censorship today is mainly on TV for really graphic content, but even if you watch something like Blood Sea, have you guys seen that show? It's not like Sailor Moon, but it is female protagonist, and it is super scary.
It is by Clamp.
Yeah, it's amazing though, and you will like have nightmares, but they censor it. But I feel like they made it obvious where they censored it. They had like beams of light going across when there was like a character getting ripped in half. So you can kind of see that's what's happening. But obviously there's nothing that gratuitous in Sailor
Buy the
Moon.
Blu-ray for uncensored violence, kids.
Oh yeah, and some things they added in the American dub where the Sailor Moon says that's not a part of the Japanese dub at all. They also had
And sometimes they would actually, the Sailor Says clips would actually include clips from that episode that they edited out in the first place.
Yeah, that segment came at the expense of decent content, and they cut even more content to put in more commercials.
But if you think that's bad, if anyone hasn't watched it already, YouTube either Saban Moon or filmmaker, Toonmaker Sailor Moon, because as bad as the 90s dub is, we could have gotten a worse version of Sailor
The
Moon.
legitimacy of that video has been questioned, but yeah, it's a.
But there are
fraction
cells
of
out there, so yeah, it's as bad as the dub was, things could have been a lot worse.
Does anyone remember the very first commercial for Sailor Moon? Where they had like the live action girl? It's really funny.
That. I don't know. I remember the one where they were trying to make it out to be this boys' action show, and they had Zoisite kicking bad guys from that one episode.
And I recall correctly, I think the very first English episode of Sailor Moon was like the first episode of R, and then they went back to the beginning, so it was like, it would spoil like, the episode spoiled so much stuff.
I don't remember that.
I do.
Oh, good, I'm not the only one. I thought I'd imagine it, but. There's a good website called Sailor Moon Uncensored where they go over like changes between the original Japanese version and the 90s dub.
Yeah, and
Check it out.
I have an example right here. This is the scene from the ballroom where Usagi actually gets drunk in the original content, but they have her drinking juice in the 90s dub, which is really weird because she's like vomiting and dizzy.
Maybe this juice will relax my tongue.
Genius.
Oh, hello, Daria. Serena? Ah, yes, the good old pudding of relativity. Let me see. Well, it's relative, of course, but it's like you mix eggs, milk, and sugar together, then you must cover it up and let it steam for about 30 minutes, but don't let it get too much heat. And don't forget fresh cream or it'll taste wrong. That's it.
Cooking is a metaphor for Einstein's theory of relativity. Yes, what an interesting point of view.
Wow, you can both speak
Touching his crotch.
Make it stop.
That touch.
Serena.
Come on, Darian, let's get this party jumping with rip-roaring discussion about poodles.
You have
Messy
a charming sense of humor, mademoiselle.
Messy, bonjour, sweet soufflé omelette. Oh, no, too much juice.
Huh?
Ça va bien? Ça va bien, ça va bien.
Are you feeling all right, miss?
Au revoir, au revoir.
Darian, would you please make sure this young lady is feeling well? Oui, monsieur.
Here too. Serena's sick. What? You sure?
Serena's sick.
How much juice did you have? Oh, I was just so thirsty.
She's about to puke.
I'm so sorry. I feel sick. Serena! Dang it.
Never play that again.
Yeah, that can stay in the 90s where it belongs.
I can talk a little about the 90s if you want.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, this old fogey wants to take you kids back to what it used to be like being a Sailor Moon fan in the faraway land of 1995. We've been talking about the dub. I don't suppose anybody watched the original run of the Japanese version?
Yeah.
Back in the 90s?
With the VHS tapes and everything. Oh wait, Nate, before you go on, I wanted to point out, Stephanie had a question. Why was Sailor Moon so short in that last scene? So that scene was in a foreign exchange ball. So all those guys were supposed to be like
American.
Westerners, and that's why they're so huge.
Right.
And Usagi's so little. And I always have a fun time in anime in general whenever they're doing an English dub for a scene that in the Japanese version they're actually speaking English because the characters are foreign, so they have to kind of like flip-flop it. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, before DVRs and broadband internet, we had VHS tapes. Be honest, does anyone here not know what one of these is?
We don't judge.
Okay, I'm impressed. Yeah, long strips of magnetic tape that on normal settings recorded 2 hours of 240i interlace video. A quarter of what would be called high definition and half of even standard definition at the time, 480i. If you wanted to watch the English dub, chances are you had to run home to school to see it on time, or you would manually record your VCR to get it every day. You had to make sure it was cued where it needed to be on the tape, and if you're a collector, you were probably manually indexing your tapes like I did at one time, labeling them by hand. Now, I was happy to do this every morning until I got this great thing called America Online 2.0 that let you connect your computer to a landline telephone and access the wide open world called the internet at speeds of 14.4 kilobits per second. It was there I learned about the English dub of Sailor Moon and how it was heavily censored. Am I chasing people out? Aw. Episodes cut entirely like we talked about. The finale against Queen Beryl being cut down to a short one-part episode that was supposed to be two-parter. I've always hated censorship, rating systems based on age. I hated anything that told me I wasn't allowed to see something. So sometime after that, I attended the Motor City Comic Con. Before it got overbloated like it is today. I don't hear any good things about it anymore. Has anybody been lately? Motor City Comic Con? Okay. And what was great at the time, in addition to reasonably priced merchandise, you could get VHS bootlegs. of anime like Sailor Moon, Japanese and subtitled.
Good time.
Which was pretty much unheard of outside of something like that at the time. Now, anime conventions were in their infancy at the time, in the mid-90s, late 90s. I don't think there were anything like that in Detroit. And if you were really lucky, you might get high-quality V-Kill bootlegs of Sailor Moon for $10 a piece, one tape with 4 episodes or a movie. I got the Sailor Moon R movie here, one of the first ones I ever got. More often than not, you might be spending $30 on a tape with subpar quality. Might be 3 episodes, might just be like a copy of a copy of a copy 8 times over. And that's one of the problems with VHS, so it's analog. And it's half of standard definition, so every time you record it, you're essentially cutting your video quality in half. All these things aside, I went to comic convention after comic convention, keep spending my money on these tapes. I got working with my dad during the summers and whatnot. And by the time the 2000s came around and DVD and broadband became standards, I had well over 180 episodes on these VHS tapes. Of course, I don't need them anymore. I didn't care for the Pioneer and ADD did terrible jobs with the DVDs. But I go to Sailor Moon Center shamelessly and download high-quality torrents.
Is that Professor Tomoe? Is he walking away? Oh, gotcha, sorry, gotcha. Nice.
And that's my little bit of history.
Yeah, I mean, how many of you guys had to hunt down the VHS tapes for this? I commend you. I'm really lazy. I don't know if I would have gotten into the series if it didn't air on Cartoon Network, and my brother got me the DVDs, which I was really lucky he found that. What were you going to say something?
Once upon a time, if you use the internet correctly or incorrectly, we actually made a friend with someone who lived in Japan who would record his television of Sailor Moon coming on TV and then would compile that cassette tape into a tape that had like 30 episodes on it with like no commercial breaks, no anything, just straight through.
Oh my gosh.
And he would sell it, and he would sell it to us for like $20
Best
a
friend
tape.
ever.
And we would pay the shipping, which was like $5.
Desperate times,
So we
man.
did it for everything.
That's what we
I'm
had
really
to do.
grateful. Can everyone just give a hand to the internet?
Yay, internet!
Actually, the way I got my VHSs, my dad was in the military and he used to go to Japan all the time, so he used to just pick up like all the VHSs of the series and the musicals, and then when the PGS one came out, I got the DVDs. There's no subtitles, but we watched it anyways.
You learn Japanese through that experience. So one really cool thing nowadays is that if you're not into the subtitle version, you can actually get the new English dub, which is pretty impressively done.
It's incredible.
Yeah, the vocal cast, a lot of them are here today. Robbie Damon, who voices Tuxedo Mask or Mamoru. And then Sailor Mars, Todd Habercorn, who does Jadeite, and Zoisite's actor Lucien Dodge is also here. I just came from their panel before this. They are a great cast. You guys should visit them, tell them what a great job they're doing. And if you haven't seen the English dub, you can watch some of it on Hulu. New episodes come out every Monday.
Todd will also be at Shudocon. And how many were actually at Shudocon last year and went to the Sailor Moon concert? Just you? Anybody else? Well, Jennifer Seehee, who does all the music for like the 90s dub, she actually had a concert at Shudocon last year, and it was really fun. And she like signed a bunch of things for anyone who stayed after.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And you got me exclusive card signed, so I appreciate that.
She actually, we told her about Mirose's wedding, and she gave her a card. Did you get the one with, she's got like a little dog, and she dresses her dog up like Sailor Moon. It's so cute.
Hang on, I gotta show you a picture of my wedding. Now that we're on that subject. So, like I said, I did a Sailor Moon themed wedding. I was really lucky and had my bridesmaids tolerate my obsession. So here they are. I did the theme after the princesses in the manga, how they all had their princess forms. They all had their chokers, which I made. That's the extent of my cosplay, is I can hot glue a star on a piece of ribbon. But you know what? I toiled over that ribbon for hours. I was just dead-eyed in Joanne Fabrics, just staring. And then no one even like asked if I needed any help, which they're just like, that girl has problems. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I had an existential crisis in Joanne, so I really appreciate anyone who cosplays, because you gotta make those decisions. And notice I'm not wearing a choker today, because I'm so done with those.
Actually, at Shidocon, one of the, for the competition cosplay, one of the winners was a Sailor Moon cosplayer.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, it was Lamette.
Oh yeah, civilian Mehmet. She had the coat, she had the briefcase, she even had the jar of snails.
She made the briefcase herself, and actually her scarf had some wire in it, so it was always flowing in the wind. It was fabulous.
So moving right along, there were, in the original 90s anime, there are 5 story arcs. So you've got Sailor Moon with the Dark Kingdom, Sailor Moon R with the Doom Tree arc, which is a filler arc. It's not in anything else.
6 if you count that arc.
Oh yeah. The Black Moon Clan, Sailor Moon's S with the Deathbusters and Lamette. Sailor Moon Supers with the Dead Moon Circus. So you got Tiger's Eye, Fish Eye, Hawkeye. Were those guys like the best villains ever or the worst? I don't know. I just realized, like, on probably the second time I was watching the Japanese version through, I realized that Fish Eye was actually a man. Because in the censorship from the 90s, of course, they made a gay character female, so her crush on Mamoru wouldn't be weird. And they also, if you watch the 90s uncut, there is a scene where Fish Eye is topless and very clearly male. And like on the version that aired on TV, they just zoomed in on his head, so you can't really see. But the original script, it's like from here down, so it doesn't make any sense when you hear the female voice actor shouting like, you know, I'm not like any of these other bimbos. You know, it's just like, what?
Well, she wasn't. She wasn't white.
Fish Eye identifies as a transvestite. Fish Eye is not actually gay. Fish Eye identifies as female.
Yeah, he dresses as female.
Fish Eye is a fish, first and foremost.
Yes.
But I thought that was really interesting. I didn't realize it until I watched the Japanese version. I'm like, because the Japanese with the subtitles, sometimes it's hard to tell gendered sentences, and like he can just be a general way of saying that person in the subtitles. But then when I learned Japanese, I re-listened to it. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, Fish Eye's actually a dude originally, so that's cool. But they weren't trying to show that he was transgender in the 90s. They were just like, oh, he's a girl, so.
Right, no, but my point is that's Fish Eye's identification. And even if you watch the Sierra Mayu, all of the jokes that Amazon Trio made are transgender jokes.
Do you guys remember, I don't think in the manga, like the Fish Eye thing was even that big of a, like, was there even the romance with
Well, no, the trio.
the love interest?
No.
The trio hardly got any screen time.
Right,
They were just kind of monsters of the day.
I think when they made the anime, they're like, these characters have the most interesting outfits. Let's give them story arcs. And then like they did the whole thing of how they turned into like fish and a tiger. I thought that was cool. My favorite filler episode from that season is actually, let me get to that, is when they're making Usagi's mom, Rikoku Mama, she goes to the store to get ingredients, and Hawkeye decides that he is her next target because he likes mature women. Yeah, that was seriously messed up, but it was such a funny episode.
Hawkeye just needs a mommy.
Yeah, he's got mommy.
He loves the Christmas cake.
One of my favorite episodes, though, is the time Hawkeye made an exception and he and Tiger Eye were both chasing Nina.
Yeah.
And
That just shows what an exceptional character she is.
she was two-timing them, bouncing back and forth between them on the same date.
Anyway, so we kind of skipped right over this, but the Doom Tree arc, like I said, that wasn't in any of the other variations, so you're not going to see Ali and N and Crystal or Sir Moonlight Knight. Yeah, who loves Sir Moonlight Knight? I actually had someone on Facebook say that that was their favorite variation of Tuxedo Mask, and I'm just like,
Really?
I didn't see it. He was, the thing about him was that when you watch, Sailor Moon growing up, and Tuxedo Mask, like, he'll say something and disappear. And then, like, he'll say something and disappear. He doesn't really get, like, that hardcore into it. And then you got this guy, looking awesome, coming up, kicking ass, taking A's, going home. I'm like, this guy.
Yeah, he does actually have, like, sabers, too, instead of roses. Yeah, so that was cool.
But I also just like that, Monroe's desire to, still, fight, even overrode his memory loss and create like.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, even with the 90s anime, the amount of content that they added that was not, from the original canon, they did a really great job of tying it back into the series overall. So they did the twist about how Mamoru's desire lived on in Moonlight Knight, even though he didn't have his memories, like, his love was that strong that he still wanted to help and protect Usagi, which I think that's a really powerful message.
I love Sir Moonlight Knight. I thought he was great. And I wish, now that I think back on it, I wish that was Tuxedo Mask, like, all the time. He's just Sir Moonlight Knight because he's badass.
And then also we had the aliens, Ali and N. It's questionable whether they're related to Fiore from the R movie. They look similar.
Maybe same race.
Yeah. And with Fiore, like, I think this was from the Snow White play. Or no, it was from the Mina episode where they were singing or whatever. It was one of the concert episodes. The more she rejects me, the more I want her. Like, their concept of love was really messed up, and so the Sailor Scouts and Usagi and Mamoru's relationship, where she has to, like, convince Tuxedo Mask, like, hey, you actually liked me, remember? And he doesn't remember. That kind of shows Ali and N the way for just, like, how relationships are supposed to work, and it's not, about being possessive. It's about, respecting the other person and trusting in them, which is a really big theme in the manga.
Yes, it is.
So then we go on to the Black Moon clan. We kind of talked about this a little bit with Sailor Moon Crystal. It's the same story arc. There's drama, there's glorious vengeance. It's kind of like a soap opera because you have, immediately following the love interest with Ali and N, you have the Prince Diamond, who is Demand in Crystal now. I'm always really confused about what his name should actually be.
I don't know, the subtitles over the years have said different things, so it could go either way.
Yeah,
I just go with Diamond.
It's easier to go with
He
Diamond.
sees Neo Queen Serenity and he's like, dude, she's so pretty. I saw a bird, it was pretty. But anyway, we get to see the hidden agenda of Wiseman. The difference here is that, like, there is no correlation to the larger story with Wiseman. Like, the planet Nemesis has, is that even, like, in the 90s anime?
I think so.
Yeah, they don't actually go, in Crystal they actually go to the planet Nemesis in the final battle. And the fates vary here between the manga and the anime. Like, we had a really cool story arc with the sisters and how it was really sad because they redeem themselves, they become good guys basically, and they just want to live normal lives, but then the Black Moon systematically hunts them down and kills them. It's really sad. It makes me a little teary-eyed thinking about it. But they're not that prominent in Sailor Moon Crystal. Oh yeah, and the Petita Strange musical, which is the second one, follows the story arc, which I love that musical. And that one you also get a love song of Sailor Pluto singing about how she has this forlorn love for King Endymion, which, stay away from my man. Sorry, ongoing theme here, but yeah. And then you have also the adorableness of a small lady looking up to Pluto and her being her only friend. And then Black Lady, which I read that Naoko was really incensed about how high the dress was. And this is from the art book, so this is different than the manga, but like they made Black Lady's costume a little bit too sexy for Naoko's liking, which I thought was interesting because if you look in the art book, like, it's a sexy dress.
And that art is by her, right?
Yeah, this is from the art books.
Yeah, so I don't
But
get
I mean, her art books they're above and beyond the caliber of her original content, of course. She put a lot of time into those, obviously. And then you've got all the bad guys, including the twins.
which they have a different name in the Japanese version, Kiraru and Akiraru. Yeah, you can call me Black Lady. Why are you white? Sorry, from the Black Moose Clan. Why are you white? God, Usagi. You can't just ask people why they're white.
Technically, she's Asian, but yes.
I also found online there's a lot of really awesome memes about Sailor Moon and Mean Girls. So just Google search that. Do you guys want to talk about the Death Busters?
What about them?
What about them?
Who are they? Tired of talking.
People who want to destroy the world for reasons by bringing an awful alien life form from a distant planet to Earth to destroy it for some reason.
Right.
And they're looking for these talismans that reside in people's hearts that eventually lead them to something called the Holy Grail.
Yeah, and I have, well, we're running short on time, so I won't play the clip. But basically, there's a really awesome episode of Sailor Venus. She wonders why her heart is not targeted by the bad guys, because she thinks her heart is so pure. And she shoots herself with, or when she gets shot and targeted by the enemy, which she goes out of her way to make herself a target by like volunteering 60 hours or whatever.
Donating
Yeah,
blood.
giving blood.
Despite the fact she's too young.
Yeah, even though she's too young, and she steals her own pure heart crystal. When it comes out of her, normally the person's incapacitated. No, Venus is like.
I loved her little, yeah, I loved her little evil laugh. It was great. Oh, it was glorious.
And she makes a mad dash for like 2 blocks before she finally passes out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Not having a heart.
Venus is my second favorite character. And then we have Mistress 9 and Pharaoh 90, who I fully expect them to make a return in Crystal. And the Awakening of the Soldier of Ruin. So we have Sailor Saturn. There she is. I'm so looking forward to Sailor Saturn and Crystal. It's going to be exciting. What? Okay, you saw the answers, but which 2 characters mistake Haruka as a man? Okay, yeah. Well, you all get candy. Yeah, and that is the most hilarious episode. They actually kind of showed in the teaser that Minako and Usagi noticed this hot guy. They just announced that Erica, what's her last name?
Mendez.
Yeah, Erica Mendez, who voices Ryuko and
Kill la Kill.
Yeah, in Kill la Kill, Ryuko Montoya, is going to be voicing her. And I asked her to do like a sample in the voice acting panel. Really cool. She said that she's not flirty or cool like Uranus is, but she really admires that about her. So I'm really looking forward to hearing her voicing work. They've got a top-notch cast. You guys should really watch it. And you can watch it for free on Hulu. You don't even need Hulu Plus.
Yeah, I really wish we could have gotten this done the first time around. It's just phenomenal.
Oh, and just so you know, Germatoid was he was like this bug-like thing that wasn't it like possessing Professor Timon?
Yeah.
Professor Timon did like some mad science experiment that went wrong and summoned everybody from the Tau system, or summoned that entity.
Yeah.
And I think it outright killed Hotaru and mortally wounded him.
Yeah.
And
Didn't
said,
it kill
"Hey,
their mother too? Or no, the mom died in a car accident or something.
Yeah, it's also
So
implied,
everyone's parents are dead or not involved.
It's implied that he had other children who died in the blast. And the entity was like, "You want to live? Yes. Fine, I'm going to possess you." Ah! And then we got the evil Professor Timon that we all know and love from the anime, and more or less from the manga.
Really great character, really great story arc. And this is going to be covered again in Infinity. Germatoid isn't in the original 90s anime, but hopefully he will make a comeback in Crystal, and there he is in the manga right there.
He might have been implied once or twice, but it wasn't a prominent role.
No, not at all. We're backwards. All right, what are the 3 talismans? Anybody know? Do you know?
Neptune's ear, Pluto's orb, and Uranus's sword.
That's right. What does she want? Cupcake?
Yeah, I want a cupcake.
Yeah, so the space sword, the deep aqua mirror, and the garnet orb are actually all based off of these treasures in real life. Like they're the Japanese national treasures, which are they're passed down by the emperor in Japan, which he is just basically a figurehead at this point. But again, what's really cool about Sailor Moon is that Naoko just did her research. She got inspired by so many different elements, and as a writer, I can very much appreciate that. Hopefully you'll find Sailor Moon elements in my writing when I'm done.
Can't wait to see it. Or read it.
Yeah. You will see the manuscript. All right, and then we have the Dead Moon Circus. A lot of people don't like this arc, but I personally found it so endearing. I really love the development that Chibiusa got, and the romance between Pegasus and Chibiusa was just so cute.
That's why I hope Crystal gets to that arc, because the manga just did so much better than the anime.
Really?
But that's just my personal opinion.
I have to say my favorite episode from this arc is when they find out that Chibiusa likes somebody, and they're all trying to like bribe her with everything.
They try to guess, and they get out of her that he's got a long face and he's pale, and they found like the ugliest guy in the park who looks like a donkey, and they're just like, this is who Chibiusa likes? He's really old, and Mamoru is so not okay with it. It's so funny watching him go protect a dad.
I think he was the target, and Fisheye was grossed out by him.
Yeah, Fisheye was.
Well, I liked one of the movies that came after this where they were fighting the fairies. The fairies were kidnapping all the kids, and I wish we had seen more fairies in this show. That would have been pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which one
Fairies
was that?
never really got into it.
Oh.
Anyway, the point was that they were supposed to capture the golden mirror and kidnap Pegasus because, well, they find out later that that horn that he has is actually the golden crystal, which has powers similar to the silver crystal. The golden crystal is basically Earth's crystal. We find out more about that in the manga, but does anyone know Pegasus's name?
Helios.
Yeah, just shout it out, Helios, yeah. So he's the guardian. In the manga, we get to see him interact with Mamoru a little bit more because Mamoru is his prince. And he's like a sacred guardian. He's kind of like an ordained priest, which is why he's got really weird get-up when he's in human form.
Yeah, some kind of earth sanctuary that was, I think, like a private worship thing for King.
Yeah, and you know, that was another thing. Unfortunately, they dumbed down in the manga a lot. A lot of the Greek mythology aspects were taken out of the anime. You see actual like goddesses on the moon in Sailor Moon, the manga, that look just like Usagi. Like the reason why she looks the way she does is all the moon goddesses have this hairstyle, and they have either white or blonde hair. So she's basically just a moon princess clone. Does anyone know what the Greek name for Helios' form is? What kind of creature is that? Nope. It's an alicorn. That's where it has the horn and the wings. A Pegasus doesn't have a horn. Even though he's called Pegasus, it's a trick.
Learn things. I learned such things.
And that's also
Did you
from...
guys learn anything from My Little Pony?
And yeah, here we have the Hawkeye likes old ladies, Fisheye likes young ladies, Tiger's Eye likes young ladies, and Fisheye's loves guys. Fisheye, too gay to function? Hey, that's only okay when we say it. Like I said, there's an endless amount of Mean Girls Sailor Moon memes. I don't know where they came from.
You had your hand up earlier. Did you have a comment?
I just had a comment that Helios is Greek mythology is the name of Serene's brother, who's the god of the sun.
Oh, really? Yeah, I knew he was from Greek mythology. That's a good point. So they're kind of related, which would be weird for Chibiusa. But not, hey, she's going after her uncle, right? Instead of her dad? That's it.
Stars. Have you guys all seen Stars?
Yes.
Has anyone not seen Stars?
I love the theme song for Stars. It's
Okay,
great.
Yeah, it's
okay.
really good.
After this panel, go find internet and go watch Stars. Stars is it should be on Hulu by this point. I think the entire original Japanese anime is on Hulu.
They released their supers. I'm not sure if they got into stars yet.
Okay, well, it will be in like a month or something. They release new episodes every Monday. Okay, an interesting thing about the gender swapping. That was not in the manga.
Nope.
They just put on boy clothes in the manga. They didn't have the transformation ability, which is interesting. You know who did have the transformation ability was Haruka. Originally, Sailor Uranus was supposed to have this ability where she was able to transform into a man to kind of take on the male attributes that, you know, make men strong. Which is why the character was designed like that and why she was based off of the play style, where they played men. Yeah. Anyway, in Sailor Stars, we have the Starlights trying to find Princess Kakuyu. Their plan is basically to become One Direction and sing songs until they find their princess. So search for love. The songs are fabulous, and the musical Sailor Mew songs are even better. It's fun to watch them dance. Yeah, they did the 90s Sailor Mew musical about that one, right? I'm excited if they do like another musical about that. That should I'm pretty be sure awesome. they will. Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing a trend here, which is, I love the revitalization of Sailor Moon. It's awesome to see. I love seeing new fans brought into the series. I recently introduced my friend, who's like a 14-year-old girl, fall in love with Sailor Moon, and it had to be one of the most heartwarming things because that's when it really, you know, I really fell in love with it as well. And just to see it inspire so many people, especially young women. Not that, you know, there's anything wrong with guys watching it. I think it's great that you guys get a lot out of it too. And you're not scared away by the fact that it's girls in skirts.
No, it's a great show. I got over it once I felt it felt weird watching it when I was a kid, but I got over it because it's a good show. Okay, who cares?
Yeah.
People were already looking for reasons to judge and bully me. This really didn't make matters any worse.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to note is that Seiya's romantic interest in Usagi is basically based upon her similarities with the princess that they're searching for, Princess Kakuyu. Our friend Marie, I think she had to leave for another photo shoot, but she was in the red garb, which is amazing because that cosplay, again, crazy hair, right?
Yeah.
But the Fireball Princess is what that means. And because of the similarities between Usagi and the fact that Usagi was also a princess and had a similar light, if you will, that's what drew the Starlights to the Sailor Scouts. And they just spend most of the time in Stars teasing the Sailor Scouts. It's really funny.
I think that's what drew Kaguya to Earth, was the light. And that's the thing you mentioned, how the crystal was so bright earlier. That's what draws Galaxia in, because her light is shining throughout the galaxy brighter than any other Sailor crystal.
Yeah. Another thing about Stars that I like is you learn a little more about like Luna and Artemis, and you see like their human forms. Yeah. Yeah, but only in the manga though. Yeah. You don't get to see Luna's human form unless you watch the second movie. Yeah, the second.
It's the second movie.
Yeah, which it's really adorable. I was so happy in Sailor Moon Crystal when they brought in her human form for no apparent reason, but it was fine because the human form, Artemis's human form is my favorite. There's a scene where Venus is about to fall to her death, and Artemis, in his cat form, grabs her. It's like hanging off here, just holding up a human. And then you see, like in the next panel, he's in his human form holding her up, and it really spoke to like the teamwork.
I think there's a panel between there where he's crushed by a boulder.
Yeah, he gets hurt. It's so sad. I cried at that part of the manga. I'm such a sap, but like there are parts in the story they shine so brightly, just like Crystal, and my eyes.
They're so mean to
Get
him
these onions out of
in
here.
the anime, in the classic anime.
Oh yeah, and here's the Starlights and Kakuyu from the art book. Oh, and the gender thing. So in the anime, they actually, when they go into their fighter forms, the fighters are all supposed to be female, which is why, like, Tuxedo Mask is the one exception. He undergoes a transformation, but like, all the Sailor Scouts are female, which is why we don't see any male Sailor Scouts. Because Naoko's whole point was that women in general have a specific power to them.
And there's something really special about ladies that, and in the time that this came out, it was very controversial because, you know, women didn't have as many rights and the attitudes that men had towards them. The 90s was a much more misogynistic culture than today. And I think we have Sailor Moon to thank a lot for some of the changes in attitude, at least in our generation, about females and women power. On just the overall plot, we talked about this. Do you guys want to talk about Galaxia a little bit in the manga versus the anime?
It's been a while since I've read the manga version. What about you?
They basically have like different origin stories. In the manga, Galaxia is like this power-hungry soldier that she starts off good, but she's corrupted because she wants to be the most powerful soldier ever.
I believe she's growing her power by collecting other sailor crystals.
Yeah, and you collect the sailor crystals by destroying the planet. So she actually went to Sailor Mao's planet, or I'm sorry, Mao is the name of the planet. Let me see if I have a slide about that.
Yeah, and in the manga,
that's where Luna and Artemis are from, is the planet Mao. So there's an entire planet out there, just so you guys know, that is full of cat people. Not like with people with ears, but like they can transform into cats, and their whole purpose was they would kind of go out to other planets and provide assistance and intelligence, and they could turn into a human form as well.
I think Luna and Artemis are supposed to be the last of their race.
Yeah, and actually the other what's the black cat with the bells?
Luna?
Yeah, Sailor Tin Yanko. Tin Yanko is from the planet Mao. She worked for Galaxia when Galaxia was going to destroy the planet. She basically was bribed.
Right, in the manga, Galaxia found women who wanted to be sailor soldiers. She gave them powers, made them sailor animates, and had them, in most part, kill off the real soldiers of their planets.
So Tin Yanko became an animate and basically betrayed everyone on her planet. And as a result, their planet, the Mao planet, was destroyed. And there's a scene in the manga that's very intense where Luna and Artemis are furious at her because they recognize her. And they're like, you're one of our own, how could you betray us? And that just didn't happen at all in the anime. So
Right, in the anime, it's like they were sailors who either, they were the ones who didn't die, they signed on with Galaxia to save their own hides.
Again, like, what's your comment?
What if a sailor dies? Wouldn't they get replaced, or?
Oh yeah. Funny thing. So in Sailor Stars, and I don't want to spoil too much, but when a Sailor Scout dies, they can be revived because their Sailor Crystal is eternal. A Sailor Crystal can't be destroyed.
Unless it's melted in the galactic cauldron, and even then.
Right, which is like the equivalent of the source, of, like the beginning of the universe, right?
Right.
That's their origin
Sending something to the beginning will automatically send it back in the end, theoretically speaking.
Sorry?
If you send something in the past, it would always appear somewhere else, so she's still immortal.
Whatever's convenient to the plot.
Point. Yeah. They never explore that thought, but it was really interesting the direction that it took in the story because you basically, like, Usagi and Mamoru, I don't think it cheapens anything. Like, they can be destroyed any number of times, but that's why, like, they can be wished back.
Yeah, but something else, I heard about this on the internet, like, Sailor Moon's mother brought her entire world back, but shouldn't she be alive still?
No, because she used the power of the silver crystal, and that was at the cost of her life. And technically, Queen Serenity was not a Sailor Scout. When we can kind of assume, based on the power order we see with Chibiusa and with Usagi, that because Sailor Moon, when she becomes Neo Queen Serenity, she ceases to be Sailor Moon. She can't transform anymore. She loses her powers. Chibiusa then became Sailor Moon. And one day, Chibiusa will inherit the throne from her mother. It's not really clear whether or not Queen Serenity will die one day.
But if she does become the queen, that makes her not a Sailor Scout.
Right, and then I don't know what would happen to the Sailor Crystal, though, in that case. We can assume she just doesn't have one anymore because maybe the power passes on. The crystal power passes on.
It's not really explored too much, so.
And it's conflicting in the manga and the anime, because in the manga, the silver crystal is her sailor crystal. Whereas in the anime, it's just kind of a powerful artifact that can be passed around.
Interesting point, though. Thanks for your comment.
And I have a theory, like, if a Sailor Moon is a guy, wouldn't he automatically turn into a girl when he transforms, or something like that?
Yeah, like with the, well, if you're going by the anime logic, yes, because that's what happened to the Sailor Stars. They transform into women. Yeah, that was, like, what? I guess it is consistent, though, with, like, all sailors are female in their fighter forms.
But male in their normal form.
Yeah, and this is the final, like, in the manga, we get to see Sailor Moon in her final form. This is Sailor Cosmos. She is the level transcendent beyond Sailor Moon. This is her most powerful form. She kind of becomes like an all-powerful god, sort of like Madoka, like a force of nature. And, hi Madoka! Sorry if I spoiled that for anyone.
It's 15 years old, they've got no right to complain.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a really beautiful story. Very different ending than the show. The show just kind of ends on Usagi's still Sailor Moon. Like, in the manga, like, there's time travel. Sailor Cosmos goes back in time, and it's sad because she wonders what the purpose of everything was because she feels the weight of, like, the pain of the whole world now.
Immortality hurts.
Right, yeah, immortality hurts.
Like
it's not everything it's cracked up to be, right?
Like if you're immortal, you can't really get close to anyone because you'd be miserable, like, oh, I only confess my love to this girl because she died before I even grew an age. So you always play rough, but get down to it.
Well,
we got 15 minutes.
Okay, I'm just gonna finish up here. So one of the things that makes Sailor Moon powerful, obviously we talked about some of the female themes, so female power. The character development shows that, like, it doesn't matter what kind of girl you are, you have a power unique to you. And I think that's, you know, the men, you also have a power that's uniquely your own. But this anime was really special because it focused on female power, which was something that a lot of little girls needed growing up to feel empowered and to feel like they could do something and save the world. The heart of the villain I wanted to talk about. So one of the things in the anime they did very well is developing all those villains.
Which anime? The 4Kids?
Sorry, the 90s anime. Yeah, and in the dub even, because you still have the character arcs.
I never get into the dub because the 4Kids grew up everything.
Yeah, the dub.
4Kids didn't have anything to do with Sailor Moon back then.
No, you're thinking of Deke and
the Deke dub.
Deke and Cloverway did the dub in the 90s.
Anyway, what makes the villains really powerful is that they're not just like, oh, I'm evil, you know, like, I'm gonna take all your energy, I'm gonna kill all these people. Like, they feel remorse, they're actual people, and because of that, they're distortions of people who had hopes and dreams. They're totally savable. We see that in the arc.
Oh, I love that about the
and we see that when
that there was redemption for the villains. And
right, when the sisters were saved, right? Like, and it's what makes their fate so tragic when it doesn't work out. Is Sailor Moon did try to save them, even like Nephrite especially. That stung, you know. And that's what makes Sailor Moon's grace at the end of the series and her final battle with Galaxia just so very powerful. So I think if we're going to take anything away from Sailor Moon, we have to admit the power of love in its truest form as a like lifestyle of grace, which I really love. And that's all. We have some clips. I also wanted to do like everyone who cosplayed. You guys don't have to if you don't want to, since we only have 15 minutes, but I'd like to do a cosplay contest. So if everyone who cosplayed, would you guys like to stand up and show off?
Do we want to go around the room?
That's awesome. Best time sheet.
Hey, get down here. You're a sailor.
Oh yeah, I'll get down there. But basically, so Luna, can we start with you? Can you introduce yourself and your character?
Loud booming voice, please.
I'm Marianne Reed, and I'm Luna.
Can you say like a line or something? Not to put you on the spot.
Yell at Sailor Moon.
Usagi!
Oh, what? Jeez, come on. Jupiter, next.
I'm Angela. everyone. I'm Sailor Jupiter. And Jupiter, coconut, cyclone!
Coconut cyclone. Awesome.
That's from the manga.
Awesome. I love it. Jupiter has way more attacks in the original manga. She only gets like the... Yeah.
They actually get upgrades every season as opposed to every cover.
Mars?
Oh, I am John, and I am Sailor Mars. Yeah.
You're not gonna get all angry or anything like Sailor Mars usually does?
Or 90 Sailors
But I
Mars.
think I understand why she's Sailor Mars. Mars is the biggest planet, and the smallest. I was thinking about Jupiter. So Jupiter is also considered a hot volcanic mountain. So she's volcanic.
Yay, bubbles!
That is amazing.
It's okay.
Homework sucks too.
Mars?
Actually, have a gender bent Jupiter.
Oh, I like it. Hey, did you guys know that Sailor Jupiter was originally named Mamoru, and that she was supposed to wear like a tuxedo outfit?
Really?
Yep.
I know that.
There's drawings for it.
I'm Tani, and I'm Mars, and big bald head.
All right, let's give a hand to all our cosplayers. Okay, I have a treat for you guys. I have the Birth of Tuxedo Mask from the PGSN.
You guys are gonna love this.
ねえ、私前からずっと守に聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
なんだよ改まって。
あのさ、守ってなんでタキシード仮面になったの？
知りたいのか。あんまり面白くないぞ。そうだな。あれは俺が子供の時だった。あの時俺は些細なことで家出したんだ。
Hey, Slenderman.
ちょっと待って、タキシード仮面って守の他にもいたの？
ああ、誰にも言ったことはないけど。
あ、ごめん、話の途中で。続けて続けて。
俺はその人から目が離せなかった。
Child Mamoru is so cute.
You should call for help.
タキシードパワー。なんていうか、優しくて温かくて。家出したことなんかすっかり忘れてた。
じゃあその人に憧れて。
これその時の絆創膏。
タキシードパワー。
その日から俺は特訓を始めた。
タキシードパワー。タキシードパワー。タキシードパワ
ー。今度こそ。タキシードパワー。 シード仮面。できた。そして俺はタキシード仮面にして幻の銀髄賞を探すようになったんだ。
苦労したんだね。でも守のことたくさん知りたいから嬉しかったよ。教えてくれてありがとう。
もしかして
え？
信じたのか今の話。
ってことはひどい嘘だったの？
普通信じないだろこんな変な話。バカかお前。
バカって何よ。じゃあその絆創膏は？
さっきカバンの底から出てきたやつ。多分去年くらいのじゃないか。
なんでそんな嘘思いつくわけ？もう本当のこと教えなさいよ。
お前からかんなんてほんと飽きないな。
ねえ本当は何？
なんだっていいだろ。
教えてよ。
もういいだろこんな話。
知りたい知りたい。
それな。
なんで？
Best transformation ever.
Hang on, I've got more clips.
We have one last cupcake up here if anybody wants it.
Here's the Minoko scene.
So creepy. よかったね、みなこちゃん。さあ、早くしまおう。みなこちゃん、待ってようちゃん。みんな急いでよ。あれとにかく足元にビンタ。
Kaoru Knight. Oh, Yuji, sorry. Looks like her. The red-headed ones I get mixed up.
Core Knight didn't have the car.
I loved it when the cars would just appear out of the most random places.
その子にそれ以上近づかないで。何？生意気な。ひでえ。
So good though.
ドアノブだ。お出かけにどこへかけて。鍵かけ。
Also, the original anime monsters were just so great. My favorite, I think, was the priest that transformed into the puncher, like the punching guy.
Yeah, the boxer. I think he had the title and the timekeeper bell.
Oh yeah, we gotta watch this. I love this. This is from the German version. Everybody rave.
He's on my playlist. Great lyrics.
I would be remiss if I didn't tell you I have the MP3 file of this. Whoa, quick, grab my boobs. Wait, it's the anime. I have no boobs before transformation. Consistency fail.
She's better off for that. That would take up 5 years of her life. They're too big.
This is Sailor Mercury. It's Freddie Mercury.
I've seen a couple variants of that.
Mama-chan, grab my buns. Miracle romance. Awesome superpower. Oh, I really like how in Sailor Moon Crystal with Moon Healing Escalation, she just like flies up into the air. Like she can pretty much fly. It's awesome. I watched Sailor Moon, but only in Japanese. Oh, I wish I could go back to college days when the days when math was easy. I feel you there. There's Naoko. Kunzite has a fat ass. Who would write that? Who wouldn't write that? Oh, these are some of the arts. We didn't talk about the merchandise today, but there's so much good stuff available. It's awesome.
There's a lot in the dealer's room if you haven't been there already.
Yeah, honestly, the dealer's room is really overpriced, but some of the stuff in Artist Alley is so cool. Make sure you guys check that out. Oh yeah, if you pair Mercury and Zoisite instead of Zoisite and Kunzite, they've got flower petals and water droplets. Watch all the episodes! That's your theme for today. Oh, this is what my wedding is based off of, was this drawing. I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm so popular. Oh yeah, this Zoisite. Did you guys see the figure of Zoisite as Sailor Moon? They have a figure now for this.
Yeah, the Sailor Zoisite. It comes with a Luna whose eyes are really wide and she's freaked out.
The party don't start till that windsurfing. And yeah, like a male Sailor. Here you go. This is like if the Sailor Scouts were male. And obviously there's a plethora of fan art out there that is amazing. And baby Sailor Moon's so cute. This is from the R movie, yeah. That's when we found out that Tuxedo Mask's parents were killed in a car crash. Or, yeah, they went over.
It was over Cliff.
Yeah, he was in the hospital and he bumped into baby Misaki, who was there because Shingo was just born.
It was a very touching scene.
I really like King Endymion's fashion improvements in Crystal. I don't know why he got a pimp suit in the 90s anime that was purple. And I think we're going to end on this note.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you so much for coming to the panel. If you want to follow me on Facebook, I do post Sailor Moon content on my S Moon Fantasy page. That's Sailor Moon Final Fantasy. And I'm also a writer for dashingnerds.com. So you can like us on Facebook too. I'm going to be posting Sailor Moon reviews there.
And I'm at Warner Bros. Cosplay on Facebook. I just did a Tuxedo Mask photo shoot last night, so I will have new photos up by the end of the year, so you can like me on there.
I'm Zippo on YouTube. I'll be posting this panel there. I also have other convention videos, including the Jennifer Seehee concert from Shudokan, and a few Nintendo panels. I'm also playing with Power, a Nintendo fan panel tonight at 10 o'clock, if that interests you.
Just thank you all for coming out. It's great to see so many Sailor Moon fans. We love you.
Yeah, we love you. Come say hi.
Love you.
Woo.
Sure.
Oh yeah, the photo shoot is at 5:30 in Renaissance Center. I hope to see you all there.
We hope to see you all at the photo shoot at 5:30.
Well,
yeah, and you know she's.
Figure out where they are, and I guess we'll go from there.